It is Tuesday of the 21st of October. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kinyage. This is the Morning Drift. Thank you very much for choosing to begin your day with us right here at Lookup TV. We are online at Lookup TV across all your social media platforms. Let's take a snapshot of what it is that you're waking up to today. This morning is all about politics after Raila, Amolo, Odinga, and we're looking at some of the marquee comments and sentiments of top political leaders from the government and outside the government on what the life after Odinga is going to be. Just a summary of what it is that we're going to talk about this morning, and I'm going to give you a summary of what top leaders have spoken about in as regards this subject this morning. William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, has pledged that ODM will either form the next government or be part of it, signaling he views the party as central to Kenya's 2027 electoral dynamics. That's the first quote. Number two, Ruto also affirmed his commitment to protect ODM from internal fragmentation and external takeover, stating the legacy of Odinga's demands unity and respect for the party structure. All right. ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna urged the party to remain united, reminding members that Odinga's last words emphasized togetherness and the party belongs to all of us. Fourth quote that we're going to talk about this morning, Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi declared that ODM will remain in the current government till the end and beyond 2027, affirming a continuity of influence rather than pure opposition. Fifth, members of Odinga's family emphasized on safeguarding his legacy, with his daughter expressing readiness to return to politics, and the party urging leadership to remain faithful to the ideas that one Raila Amolo Odinga espoused. Now, that forms the back end of our conversation this morning, where we're asking what is the picture of life after Raila Amolo Odinga, state of the nation this morning. So be ready for that conversation. Once our guests walk into the studio this morning, we shall be tabling that conversation, and we shall be with you all the way to 9:30 a.m. this morning as we put into perspective some of the deliberations that have come through from the political class in the country after the arresting of one Raila Amolo Odinga. All right. Now, if you look at these statements, then they collectively suggest the political realignment. ODM, once a major opposition pillar under Odinga, is being explicitly positioned for either leadership or partnership in government ahead of 2027. The pressure is now on the party to manage succession, maintain unity, and deliver on its promise in a post-Odinga era. That's the conversation that we're going to have this morning. We want to be a part of it. I look up TV across all our social media platforms. Good. Let's then jump into what it is that you're waking up to this morning in your dailies. And as usual, then, let's begin with the Daily Nation this morning. See what it is they have covered. And this is the bigger headline here. Raila shadow looms over Mashujaa Day. All right. Now, a day after the burial of Raila Amolo Odinga, memories of the veteran opposition leader lingered over the Mashujaa Day celebration, with President Ruto devoting a major part of his address at Idhokwe Stadium in Kitui to paying glowing tribute to the former Prime Minister who died last week, aged 80 years. Similar messages dominated speeches in the regions where speakers challenged leaders to observe the ideals that the ODM leader stood for, including defending civil liberties, protecting devolution, and upholding the rule of law. That story has been covered on page 4 and 5. And if you did listen to President Ruto's speech yesterday, you did hear him conferring Raila Amolo Odinga the top recognition possible in this country, that is Golden Heart. That's exactly what he was given yesterday. All right. So you want to read that story on how former Premier posthumously awarded the Republic's highest honor. You got to read about it on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation. Kenya politics without Baba, that's exactly what we're talking about this morning. Now, retired President Uhuru Kenyatta pays his respects at the grave of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga yesterday, and those are the images that you have right there. And you've got to read that story on page 10. That's what his lengthy political career, Raila Odinga, who died last week, was revered and vilified at the same time. For more than 3 decades, his name defined the country's politics, evoking devolution or disdain in an equal measure. Right? That story has been covered right there on page 10 of the Daily Nation this morning. You cross over to page 12. You're going to read on a new fee structure for senior school. That story has been covered on page 12 of the Daily Nation as well. Now, majority of the stories have also been covered on the on our social media platforms. That is at Lookup TV across all of them. As they say, once you're there, then subscription and a like is all that we ask for. Fantastic. Let's cross over to the Standard this morning, see what they have covered as well. Pictures right there of one Raila Amolo Odinga honored in a death, and that's exactly what we did see come from the Mashujaa Day celebrations yesterday in Kitui, where majority of those speeches then were touching one way or another on the legacy of Raila Amolo Odinga, who majority considered a true hero to Kenyan politics in this country. Now let's talk about it then. Now, the weight of Raila Odinga's name hung heavy on President William Ruto's heart and tongue as he addressed the nation from Kitui during Mashujaa Day celebrations. More than 20 times, he invoked the late opposition leader's name, praising his courage and sacrifice before posthumously conferring him Kenya's highest honor, the Chief of the Order of the Golden Heart. Across the counties, governors joined in celebrating a man whose death carries striking irony. Once Kenya's most persecuted politician, Raila is now enshrined among its greatest heroes. That story on the Standard has been covered on page 3 and 4. By the way, that honor right there is one of a kind in the country. If you look at it, it's called the Chief of the Order of the Golden Heart. And that's the highest power that is bestowed upon the president then to confer that kind of honor to former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, and that was officially gazetted. And this is the quote from President William Ruto, who said the first lesson that Baba taught us is to put country above self. Time and again, he reminded us that no disagreement is greater than our unity, no ambition more important than our one's peace, and no personal interest higher than the welfare of the nation. That is President William Ruto. Some of the quotes that came from the governors across the country. There's Simon Kachapin, who's the West Pokot governor, a true patriot and a founding father of Kenya's devolution system. His fight for democracy, inclusive governance has transformed grassroots lives. Kenneth Lusaka, who's saying he may not have become president, but his legacy is presidential. We praise him as a man who gave his life to the cause of freedom, equality, and inclusion. He gave life to devolution and fought for a constitution that protects our rights and diversity. There's Fatuma Achami, who's saying that Raila stood firm in the fight for the birth of a new constitution and the establishment of a devolved government that has brought services closer to marginalized people. Kitui Governor, that is Julius Malombe, who's saying, in a special way, I applaud the departed former PM, Raila Odinga, as an outstanding and awesome Shujaa whom Kenyans are celebrating for championing multi-party democracy, constitutional reforms, defending devolution, justice, and the rule of law. Oscar Sudi, Kapsabet, Member of Parliament, was saying Raila was a true man of God, known for reaching out to his political enemies for the sake of the people. I was impressed by the peace shown by the people of Kisumu. Some of the leaders then were celebrating Raila Amolo Odinga yesterday as a true shuja of the country. Let's then cross online and see what majority of Kenyans are talking about this morning in as regards what has been a long weekend. Now remember, on Friday was declared a public holiday to mourn the death of Raila Amolo Odinga. Then Monday was the Mashujaa Day celebrations. Let's then cross over and see what Kenyans are talking about. This Gachagua is trending, and we do know why it's trending. There was a public outro. There was a public uproar, yes. That's the word I was looking for. When Gachagua missed the burial of one Raila Amolo Odinga. And Kenyans started expressing their sentiments. Yeah. So let's read what Gachagua has said. This is a communication that came from his party, the DCP, 22 hours ago. The last communication that we have here is him saying that this Mashujaa Day, we honor not just the heroes of our past, but all who stand today for truth, justice, and good governance, even when it's not popular. True heroism is standing firm when others bow. Okay? It is what it is. Gabriel Ogunda is speaking this morning, who says that on this day, 2017, there is a picture right of Raila Amolo Odinga attending a ceremony in the central part of Kenya. So that the day is March 2017, and despite all the hostility surrounding the 2017 elections, Raila Odinga still braved the weather to land in Nyeri to commiserate with the family of the Ritu Gachagua. If you do remember this ceremony, yeah? It was right there. This is just majority of Kenyans then responding to Gachagua, stating that he did look at everything possible in as what would have occurred if he would have continued then to go around and attend the burial of Raila Amolo Odinga. He said that he feared for his security, and that's why he decided not to attend. There's a direct comparison here by Gabriel Ogunda as to what Raila Amolo Odinga did when he was in a similar scenario back in 2017. All right, this is Bernard Karanja who's saying, shame on you, Gachagua, shame on you and your opposition. You have embarrassed the mountain. There was nothing opposition about Baba's death and state funeral. You can't call yourself a kingpin, yet you can't lead your community in joining the rest of the country in such an occasion. Let it be known that the mountain, in its own way, loved Raila Odinga. That is from Dr. Bernard Karanja, responding to Gachagua missing that ceremony. Let's call on Samuel Bakesa, all right, who's saying that regarding Gachagua skipped the morning of Shujaa Raila Odinga while the mountain paid tribute to a hero. This absence will not be forgotten and will have lasting political consequences. And goes on to hashtag Shemon Gachagua. Oof. All right. Finally, then on this one, this is Karungo Sangawa, who's saying Kenya does not stop when Gachagua chooses silence. It listens even more closely. His absence from Baba's farewell was not an act of defiance, weakness, or guilt. It was a deliberate show of statesmanship, emotional intelligence, and deep respect for a moment that was bigger than politics. All right, diverge your views. What do you think? Talk to us at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. Should have Gachagua attended the state burial of one Raila Amolo Odinga, and what political consequence would this have on his political career? Let's move away from them, talk about other trends this morning. We do have Idokwe Stadium. We do know why it is trending. this morning. That's where the Mashujaa Day celebrations were held yesterday, if you are not aware then. And good pictures right there that we did cover as well of kids who formed a nice tribute pattern there, calling Raila Shujaa at those celebrations, right? Good. Let me read one tweet here from Mama Rachel Ruto, who said that today we joined Kenyans at Idokwe Stadium in Gitui County to celebrate Mashujaa Day, a time to honor the great men and women whose courage, sacrifice, and service have shaped our nation's journey. Good. That's why it is then. Good pictures there, right there again, of Kitui. Now, let me just analyze this. Kitui now has a working airstrip. It was never there, by the way. It was constructed in readiness for the celebrations of Mashujaa Day. It's a blessing, isn't it? Because now planes had to land. The president's motorcade had to go all the way to the airstrip to pick the president and take him to the stadium. And it is finally beautiful. It's looking beautiful. So this is what they're saying. A working Kitui airstrip, Idokwe Stadium, 10,000 seater capacity. And if you did see yesterday, more people thronged into that stadium. Some had to occupy the central part of that stadium because the numbers were too much for the stadium to occupy. And then they're saying Kitui Mini State Lodge as well, all right? And then Jane Kialo was saying, Ukambani tumefikiwa finally. Talk about the fruits of celebrating Mashujaa Day in your backyard. Like they say, Mugeni karibu, mwenyeji apone. It's something in that direction. That's what I do not know the exact profile in Proverbs, in Kiswahili, but they say when a visitor comes, yes, the locals enjoy the fruits of the visitor. And these are some of those fruits that we are talking about this morning. So I'm not going to talk about Man United because I can see majority of Kenyans this morning want us to talk about Man United trending. I do not know what we need to talk about, you guys. I mean, it's not news. We can't be talking about Raila Amolo Odinga and Mashujaa Day, and you want us to mix that this morning with Man United. There's nothing monumental that you did. You're not even in the top 4. You're still, which is your position? Is it position 8, 9? I'm sorry, I don't know what you did this weekend, but I mean, if you want to talk about sport, the weekend was very far. I mean, we should be talking about Arsenal playing the Champions League tonight. It's not trending, but I mean, if it's news, then that's bigger than us talking about Man United, something that happened when? Was it on Sunday? This is too far back. We can't talk about it this morning. I'm really sorry, guys. Let's talk about Arsenal playing Atletico Madrid this morning, tonight, and also Man City. We're going to play Villarreal. That's better. Let's wait for you next weekend. If you beat Brighton, then we can talk about you. But that's still news, guys. Let's talk about what's happening tonight. Yeah. I also have a lot this morning on Bondo. Bondo is still trending, and we don't know why it's trending. That is President Uhuru Kenyatta, who decided then, after the burial of Raila Amolo Odinga, he then decided to take now a personal visit to the family of Raila Amolo Odinga, just to be with them in the final moments then, when the rest of the country had sort of moved away from them, just to see exactly how they were doing. And Kenyans really appreciated that. Let me just read a tweet here from the office of the 4th President of Kenya, that is Right Honorable President Uhuru Kenyatta, was saying a day after the burial of the late Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, former President Uhuru Kenyatta visited the Odinga family at Opoda Farm and Kongako Jaramogi in Bondo, Siaya County, where the former Premier was laid to rest. Pictures right there of President Uhuru Kenyatta with the family of Raila Amolo Odinga at Bondo. And that's why Kenyans then have been talking about this particular one in big numbers. And we expect that these conversations about Raila Amolo Odinga will be with us for quite a long time to come. Not just now, and also in many ways that majority of us are going to appreciate this morning, and that's exactly what forms the back end of our conversation this morning on Live After Raila Amolo Odinga, which is going to start shortly. I can already see some of the guests that are joining us this morning are already in the studio. I'll be introducing them shortly before we take a break and come back with them. Good. Finally then, this morning, what is again trending is, I don't know why we need to talk about, I'm sorry, let's not talk about Liverpool, because I can see Slot again trending, and we don't know why it's trending. Is a man who's lost 4 games in a row now, isn't it? I'm sorry, Man United fans, it's, let's talk about Champions League, guys. It's the Premier League. I'm not going to talk about them, yeah? Of course, you're trending and you want us to talk about it, but I don't think so. Edwin Sifuna this morning was saying true friends of Baba can easily be detected through actions, not through Baba aliniambia lies this morning. That's him responding again to Uhuru Kenyatta visiting the family of Raila Amolo Odinga after the burial. Good. Now, what we're talking about this morning, it's pretty much simple. We're looking at the utterances that have come from top leaders across the country after the burial of one Raila Amolo Odinga. What does it really state about the direction that the country is going to take after Raila Amolo Odinga? And the summary is quite simple. If you look at some of the sentiments that are coming from those in the broad-based government, those outside of it or opposed to it, then you will see that lines are already beginning to form. Just a snapshot of what William Ruto said. He did pledge that ODM will either form the next government or be part of it, signaling he views the party as central to Kenya's 2027 electoral dynamics. He also affirmed his commitment to protect ODM from internal fragmentation and external takeover, stating the legacy of Odinga demands unity and respect for the party structure. There's so many comments that came post the burial of Raila Amolo Odinga, but these are the ones that form the back end of our conversation this morning. That is Ruto saying that ODM will either form the next government or be part of it. That's deep, really. And also, he promised that he's going to protect ODM from internal fragmentation or external takeover. What does that mean? Are we reading too much into it? What did the rest of the leaders say? Is it okay for the president, who's not a member of the ODM party, to come in and say that, well, ODM is going to form the next government or be a part of it, or that is going to protect ODM from fragmentation and external takeover? What does that mean? The rest of the leaders also came in and said that ODM is going to be part of the government post 2027. Elections will just be in opposition. Those are the sentiments of PO1A. But then the Secretary General, Edwin Sifuna, comes in and says, guys, who told you to put words in Raila Amolo Odinga's mouth? He himself said that ODM will have a presidential candidate in 2027. A lot has been spoken. What is the way forward post Raila Amolo Odinga? Now, this morning then, after this break, we're going to be joined by our guest this morning who want to weigh into this subject. And I can already see in the studio, we do have Amondi Ngoma. How are you doing, sir? Karibu sana. All right, we take a tiny breather right here on our morning show. Once we come back, I'll be introducing the rest of the gentlemen who are joining us. Once we come back, jump into this conversation. Good morning. See you on the other side of the break. People are there to belittle you. When people are questioning you,
if you don't move fast, of course, yes, you lose it, but then it's not us to push you.
But you do not know the God who has been molding me. What has he been doing to me?
The deep and mature conversations of empowerment for you with a curious mind and an appetite for oriented conversations.
I concur with what you're saying. You plan your finances, you can easily live without a debt.
An engaging safe space of free expression and truthfulness with an upheld vibrance, motivation and happiness.
So many children who are there, they are not living their dreams.
Join us for deep conversations with Zipporah Gashushe every Saturday from 8 p.m. The Deeper Conversations on Look Up TV.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
People are there to belittle you. When people are questioning you,
if you don't move fast, of course, yes, you lose it, but then it's not us to push you.
But you do not know the God who has been molding me. What has he been doing to me?
The deep and mature conversations of empowerment for you with a curious mind and an appetite for oriented conversations.
I concur with what you're saying. You plan your finances, you can easily live without a debt.
an engaging safe space of free expression and truthfulness with an upheld vibrance, motivation and happiness.
So many children who are there, they are not living their dreams.
Join us for deep conversations with Zipporah Gashushe every Saturday from 8 p.m. The Deeper Conversations on Look Up TV.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed the life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
How easy is it for you to forgive someone who has hurt you? How easy is it? What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. They look familiar. Have we met before? No. We met in
Nobody is buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed the life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu Maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza alikuwa na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazuri.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Is it for you to forgive someone who has hurt you?
How easy is it?
What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. They look familiar. Have we met before? No. We met in
Nobody's buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
People are there to belittle you. When people are questioning you,
If you don't move fast, of course, yes, you lose it, but then it's not us to push you.
but you do not know the God who has been molding me, what has he been doing to me?
The deep and mature conversations of empowerment for you with a curious mind and an appetite for oriented conversations.
I concur with what you're saying. You plan your finances, you can easily live without a debt.
An engaging safe space of free expression and truthfulness with an upheld vibrance, motivation and happiness.
So many children who are there, they are not living their dreams.
Join us for deep conversations with Zipporah Gashushe every Saturday from 8 p.m. The Deeper Conversations on Look Up TV.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza alikuwa na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazuri.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
Is it for you to forgive someone who has hurt you?
How easy is it?
What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. You look familiar. Have we met before? No. We met in
Nobody's buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
Welcome back. You are watching The Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles here again. In case you are just joining us, this is The Morning Drift. We are talking about politics after Raila, Amolo, Odinga. How is it looking? How is it going to look? And the only way we can keep on judging that is by the sentiments and the comments that are coming from major political leaders in the country. This morning, we are expected to be joined by one Okinda Ojuka, who's the Secretary General, the Green Party of Kenya. Is just about to walk into the studio, caught up in traffic. But in the studio, we do have Omondi Ngoma, who's an MCA aspirant in a 2027 elections. Omondi, how are you doing, sir? Good. Happy to have you around. Let's jump into these quotes directly, and I will not hold on it. I want to pick your sentiments on some of the quotes that we've seen from political leaders in the country upon the passing of one Raila Amolo Odinga. Good. Let me start with Edwin Sifuna. He's a man who's come under fire. And the only way then that we can see how the political party, that's ODM, is going to fare after the passing of one Raila Amolo Odinga is to judge from what the Secretariat is saying. And the Secretary General, Edwin Sifuna, spoke. And this body said in front of the President, well, do not put what's in Raila Amolo Odinga's mouth. He himself said that nothing is stopping ODM from fielding a candidate in a 2027. And that's the true feeling of the party. Is that what it is? That we have to hold on, Omondi, and wait for the communication from the party, because as it stands, they're going to have a candidate in 2027.
Politics is a game of deceit, and politics is a game of hiding cards. And if you've been around, you'll see that towards any election, yes, political parties come and they say, hold on, we will do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, so that they have their internal planning that is not exposed to their, let's say, opponents or something like that. So while Raila said, hold on, we will talk about this after 2027, I think ODM was trying to protect its own house. And they were saying, yes, we're in broad-based government, but we don't know what our friends in the Kenya Kwanza coalition have. So we cannot go out and expose ourselves.
Yes.
So it leaves it open to a possibility of ODM fielding their own candidate or ODM still working with the president's party. So it is two options. And according to Sifuna's sentiments, Sifuna is coming out to be a little rigid on a particular path. Or Baba said, we will field a candidate. So Sifuna has made up his mind that ODM doesn't have options. The only way to go is to work, I don't know, because he's not even in support of the broad-based government.
Yes.
Yeah, to him is ODM should have walked out of the broad-based government or could have not even joined the broad-based government to begin with. So that is his position, and he has never wanted it. So up to now that ODM is in the broad-based government, Sifuna has a feeling that if things are supposed to maintain, then they should stop at 2027, and ODM should field its own candidate, while other people might look at it like a possibility of us working even after 2027.
That's it.
And that is what Raila said, in my own interpretation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will continue this morning with these sentiments, because then you can see the conflicting statements that are coming from within the party, even as we speak this morning. This is what Opio and I said in his speech, and this is what he said. Continue to say that Opio and I declared that ODM will remain in the current government till and beyond 2027, affirming a continuity of influence rather than a pivot opposition. Modi, why can't they speak with the same voice? Because if it's a party resolution, then the SG can be speaking about something different from what a party member will be speaking about. So this Opio and I is saying, listen, we're in it now, and even after 2027. Is he ceding to that fact that they want to have a candidate post 2027, that they will still remain within this government? Because they're saying, we just don't want to be in opposition. We just want to do influence politics, that we're within this government and we're influencing the decisions that they're making. Those are two different sentiments right there.
I think that is why I said there are options to those who would want to think it broadly.
Yes.
Yeah. But Sifuna doesn't have those options. He doesn't have the option of ODM working with the government or forming the next government with the president's party beyond 2027. People like Opio and I think they're like you mentioned something to do with conceding. I think they have known where ODM has come from, trying to get into power, and maybe they know what it means to get to where they are right now, and they're saying yes, if things maintain, because right now it is cool with them, it is warm with them, they're sleeping well with the government. And if things continue like that, they might want to continue working with the same government beyond 2027. And I think these kind of contradictions are still going to be there in ODM, and even much more now that Raila is not there. Because the people who are in ODM right now, and people who are holding positions like Sifuna, are young people who are still ambitious. And that is why you remember when we were talking offline, we mentioned about ambitions with the young people. I see Sifuna being overambitious, because if this is a party that has people who are much more mature politically than him, then him being the Secretary General, he should come out and say a unifying statement that has come from the young and the old. The young here, the old here, I mean people like Anyang' Nyong'o, people like Uburu, people like Orengo. What is their position? Initially, Orengo was of the idea that ODM should not work with the government. Right now, you saw him, pledging whatever his loyalty to the president.
Yes.
It means he has confirmed that ODM is going to work with the government. But for Sifuna, I don't know what is driving him, unless I go and take another look at whatever is driving Sifuna. Because if Sifuna really wants the party, and he has the party at heart, and the Secretary General, then before he makes a statement, he should make sure that this statement is unifying. But sometimes you find him making statements that, like you said, that is contradicted by that statement that come from his juniors in the party. So I think he's a man on his own, to me, in the party. The majority of people in ODM would wish that ODM continue working with the government. The sentiment that have come from, I think, Sifuna and Hamisi, the MP,
yes.
young MP.
Yes.
And then the people, and Babu, I think. Those are the people who are, you know, vocal about this. ODM should be in somewhere. And that is why I told you, Simba, the difference between these people who are saying ODM should not be in government and Raila Odinga is that they are fighting people. They are fighting person. They are fighting a person. They are not fighting issues. You see, because I'll give you an example. The President Ruto right now is in a very tight situation. People say Ruto is not leading well. Then Ruto goes and corrects what is not right, and people dismiss that correction. You see, because they are not after the change. They are after removing the person. You see, and that is not, I think that is not what we want in Kenya. We want good governance. We don't want to change people because you know who we are in Kenya. If you remove Oscar, who is a thief, and replace him with Simba, who is another thief, does it solve anything? It doesn't. And Raila Odinga was not after removing people. He was after changing the way people govern people.
Modi, you gotta create a clear distinction this morning, and I'm listening to you, and this is what we gotta agree. The other side of this thought is insisting that there's no difference between what Sifuna is saying and what Raila Amolo Odinga was saying. That there is no one point that Raila Amolo Odinga said what Opio and I is saying here, that, well, ODM will be in this government post the 2027 period. And Sifuna comes down and says, well, look here, all I'm saying, I'm reiterating what Raila Amolo Odinga said. Raila Amolo Odinga said that do not make a decision for the party post 2027. Raila Amolo Odinga told them, hold your horses. Who has told you that we want to have a candidate in 2027? Have we ever, as a party, come in and said, well, we'll be in this government post 2027? What we signed was a deal to take us to 2027. So the party is going to make that decision. As it were, if the Secretary General is making the sentiments, it's simply saying what Raila Amolo Odinga said on Monday. And he said, please, with all due respect, just because somebody is passed on, you have no right now to come and put words in mouth. He never said this. And true to that, Raila Amolo Odinga wants party members to hold on. We will make that announcement for you. Let's work towards 2027. What is different with what Sifuna is saying now and what Raila Amolo Odinga said?
There's a difference, Simba, and the difference is this. Raila Odinga, from Raila Odinga's statements and sentiments, he was saying, let us be in the broad-based government and then wait for a decision after 2027.
That's it.
Sifuna is saying we don't need to be in broad-based government actually from the beginning. That is what Sifuna stands for. And now,
Omoni, despite what it stands for, but what did he say? The latest sentiments that Sifuna said is, well, I echo what Raila Amolo Odinga said. Guys, Raila Amolo Odinga didn't say, let's be in it past 2027. He said, we'll make that announcement for you. That's what he said.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you.
Yes.
What is Sifuna doing for ODM towards making that decision in 2027? What is he doing? Like, to maintain the statements of Raila of hold on. What is he doing towards that? Is he building the hold on or destroying the hold on? I think that is what brings the difference. Because Sifuna, whatever Sifuna is doing, whatever Sifuna is saying, his body language, his movement and activities are already saying no to the hold on that Raila Odinga said.
Yes.
He's not holding on. He's not. It is okay, it is true that he said, stop putting words into Raila Odinga's mouth. It is true Raila did not say, we have a pact after 2027. He said, we are in it right now. That is true. And people are saying, okay, we don't know whether these things were said. We will go with what we saw Raila say. These people are saying, Raila told me, Raila did. We don't know that. Let's go with what Raila said. But my question is, what is Sifuna doing that is building the hold on? Is he holding on? That is what would bring, you know, these suspicions around Sifuna. Is he holding on?
Second question. let's go to what Ruto said and sort of marry it with what we're talking about this morning. And then Ruto says that this government, ODM, sorry, would either form the next government or be a part of it. You know, that's the president speaking, and we shouldn't take those sentiments lightly, because then that sort of shows you what the plan is. Post Raila, Amolo, Odinga. What does it mean that ODM will form the next part of this government, that it might form the next government or be a part of it? And then it goes on to say, let me just remind you a couple of weeks just before this, when Sifuna was vehemently speaking about ODM, William Ruto jokingly said, let me remind you, Sifuna, you know, I'm one of the founding fathers of ODM. So when worse comes to us, I might call the members of ODM so that we get things in ODM in order. If you look at the divisions that have already formed within ODM right now, owing to the Kalonzo Musyoka factor and the Martha Karua factor on this other side, is it plausible to say that ODM, that what it means that it will form part of the government is that ODM might be an umbrella party within the UDA party? Is that what the president is saying?
Most likely. Most likely, because now we just fetched back a statement of Ruto initially when you want to phone about the leadership of ODM and the formation and who are there at its creation. Ruto also confessed that Raila Odinga is his political teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, and he molded him. So I think there are possibilities here, and these possibilities must be looked at from all dimensions. And the dimension one would be, what are the benefits of Ruto vying under ODM, and what are the benefits of Ruto vying under UDA?
Yes.
Yeah, so before let me answer your question, because I go to that. ODM is likely to be a key party if it remains unified under whatever coalition that the president is going to use to vie in 2027. Because I said if it remains intact.
That's it.
Because ODM has a following. And now it is going to be a party of significance within that coalition, if at all it remains there, and Sifuna doesn't remove it like he's trying to. Now, the president, if he vies with an intact ODM, I think he stands to benefit from an already built, you know, political base. And that means the president, as you know, the politics of Kenya today, we vote along tribal lines. And we'll see this happening. When the time comes and the campaigns begin, Rift Valley will be a no-go zone for any other person apart from William Ruto. It has always been that, because we always align ourselves tribally. And then ODM is associated with Nyanza. If he maintains Nyanza, then it means he's going to inherit Raila Odinga's following in Nyanza. So, and that also would apply to cost. And you see now, he is somebody who is very creative politically. There are these moves that he has made that are winning him votes with the Somali community. People are talking about them, but they're winning in. Now, I'm saying the president should really see if he needs to vie under UDA or under Kenya Kwanza, and the amount of benefit he stands to get.
Yes.
Versus vying under ODM and the amount of benefit he stands to get. Initially, I told you, if he vies under ODM, he might lose some of his support base, because there are those people who believed in Ruto outside ODM and outside Raila influence. But now that Raila is also dead, and you know he has become a hero, like we do to the dead normally, he might get a few people who did not believe he was a good person, but now have seen it. So Ruto might benefit from the absence of Raila and get that sympathy of the orphans, the orphans who believe in Raila. Yes. Now they could see the father figure in Ruto. So I think he stands to benefit and to lose at the same time. But ODM will remain a powerful party within that coalition. if it remains intact.
That's it.
Yeah.
Let's look at the technicality here, Omondi. Even as we say that, well, the president might not be really serious about putting this party together. If your point then holds water, it means that the best thing that the president can do right now is to stop the division that might occur within the ODM party. Here are some names that have really shot up within the ODM party. Number one, Edwin Sifuna is a man who currently, allegedly, is under so much fire from within the party. People see him as a man who wants to break the ODM party as opposed to bring it together, owing to the coalition government conversations. And number two, there's Babu Owino in it as well, a man who's been seen as very divergent from what Baba has also been pushing forward. Those two are the vocal men within that party who said, this collaboration government, broad-based government nonsense, we don't know, we don't want it. What is the best move for the president now, if those two are the key figures that are either going to make or break ODM? What does the president do with Sifuna and Babu?
I think Sifuna and Babu, to me, have influence, but the magnitude of that influence really matter. Like, the president should really be cautious when dealing with them, because we are seeing a president that is facing rebellion among the young people that associate themselves or identify themselves with these two gentlemen. You know, they are youthful, and most of the youth, you saw what happened in Bondo, and there are those applause for, the applauses for Babu. Unless it was bought, but if it was real, it just came from the people, then we must agree that Babu is really identifying with the young people.
That's it.
So when the president is dealing with these people, he should really be cautious, because the young people are the ones who are now being listened to forcefully, or even whether you like it or not, you'll have to listen to them, because they're just coming out in their own way. So the president should really find a way of dealing with these people. One, harassing or mistreating them will win them sympathy among the youth, and this might even escalate to the older generation, because politicians grow when they are mistreated.
That's it.
In the political arena. Look at how big Gachagua has become. We have forgotten about the ills of Gachagua, and now this guy has become the next younger brother to Jesus Christ, coming to save Kenya. Now, if the president is going to deal with these people, of course, they are the people who are going to break ODM. They are going to, because they have their own ambitions that are not aligning to the majority or the older members of the ODM.
Yes.
So when they decide to go away, they are going to pull the ribs of ODM apart. So the president really need to tread with them carefully. I was saying something towards the burial of Raila, where they were saying Ruto might appoint Babu to the cabinet and make him, the minister for education and something like that. But I know these people, the ambitions cannot allow them settle for any appointment from Ruto. They are seeing a bigger picture outside just a mere appointment, cabinet position with that. These are people who want to build their political path. And they're really out there, and they're going to take risks, because they're getting the support, and they don't want to let that support slip away from them. So the president really needs to make sure that these people are handled with care. The best way, to me, is the president should work with the people who are in ODM and ignore these people. If he ignores them, they will be relevant. Let him focus on what ODM supporters are lacking fully. Then that way he will maintain ODM. What are the ODM supporters lacking? We need development.
Yes.
We need employment for the young people. We need improvement on technology, health, and stuff like that. So when the president focuses on making sure that what the people are asking for, Babu and Sifuna will remain relevant. But if he starts arresting them, mistreating them, doing those all sorts of things to them, they will grow bigger than whatever he might expect, and he might lose it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Another question that comes from there is that maybe just not ignoring them might also not be good for President William Ruto if he wants ODM then to be together. all the way to the 2027 elections. Should he intervene and contain the fire that Sifuna is facing within the party? Because if Sifuna loses that position of the SG to ODM, does it not then spell the beginning of a break within the ODM party? What should he do? Should he intervene and say, hey, leave the man alone?
Intervening, like asking the people attacking Sifuna to go slow on him?
That's it, and do not fire him from that position of as SG?
I think handling Sifuna is a hard one, because if you look at Sifuna, it is hard and easy at the same time. First of all, people want to deal with Sifuna should ask the questions: how heavy is Sifuna? What is he holding? Yeah. What is the weight of Sifuna?
Yes.
Because we see how Sifuna, who has been a one-term senator, and he became that one-term senator. Did he, when he was he voted as Sifuna, or was he voted as an ODM senator under the umbrella of ODM and Raila, Amolo, Odinga? The influence that Sifuna got, was it courtesy of Raila or courtesy of ODM? Then you'll ask themselves, I think they should not fire him immediately. Let them see Sifuna organizing rallies and see how many people are attending Sifuna rallies. Let them see how many people are in support of Sifuna, so that they see the weight that comes within Sifuna. You see, I'll give you an example of Ababu Namwamba. I think Ababu Namwamba, as the SG of ODM, was bigger than Sifuna right now. But when Ababu decided to part ways, he lost the support.
Yes.
But the difference is, what would work for Sifuna right now is, when Ababu Namwamba left, ODM was in the opposition, and the people saw Ababu as going to work with the enemy of the majority who are in the opposition. So it was easy for ODM to dismiss Ababu and let him be relevant. But on this one now, ODM is in government that I think the majority is not in support of. Yeah, and now Sifuna is on the other side of the majority. Yeah, so it might be hard for ODM to, like dismiss Sifuna because of their position right now. But just the same way, Simba, you see, I'll put it this way: like, if you have a girlfriend and you are rich, and you take this girlfriend to very posh places, she meets high-end people. Some ladies forget, and now they think that they can just go there and meet those people alone. And then when you leave them, they go there and find this person not even interested in meeting her. So Sifuna should also ask himself, am I, as Sifuna, the person who people are liking right now, or they're liking me as a senator of ODM? You see, so even if the Ruto intervenes, to me right now, I think firing Sifuna right now, I think he should intervene right now and ask them, go slow on him, let us see what he carries, what he has that we might need, that might affect us before we make our next move.
That's it.
Because if they just go and Sifuna is out of ODM, it might come with a lot of casualties. Yeah, there's something that might be so bad for ODM in terms of following.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Guess what? Once we come back, we are still with Omonde this morning, and this is what the family said, that we must safeguard his legacy, with the daughter expressing readiness to return to politics, and the party urging leadership to remain faithful to the ideals that he has passed. Once we come back, then the question is going to be, now that there is a loophole in the party leadership within ODM, what is going to be the best way for the party to approach this loophole? Once we come back right here on The Morning Drift.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza alikuwa na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
People are there to belittle you. When people are questioning you,
If you don't move fast, of course, yes, you lose it. But then it's not us to push you.
but you do not know the God who has been molding me, what has he been doing to me?
The deep and mature conversations of empowerment for you with a curious mind and an appetite for oriented conversations.
I concur with what you're saying. You plan your finances, you can easily live without a debt.
An engaging safe space of free expression and truthfulness with an upheld vibrance, motivation and happiness.
So many children who are there, they are not living their dreams.
Join us for deep conversations with Zipporah Gashushe every Saturday from 8 p.m. The Deeper Conversations on Look Up TV.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Drift. We are still on the conversation of what next after Raila Odinga. Now, the big question then is going to be what the ODM party's got to do this morning. And we got to go back to what governors have been talking about. Let me take you to one governor, who's my governor for Kisii County, Simbarati, was speaking on Mashujaa Day celebrations. This is what he said, that look here, we're not saying that we can't work with William Ruto. In fact, if he wants to come back to ODM, he can. That our doors are open. I don't know how serious to take those sentiments for Simbarati. But once he comes in, then he can even vie as a president from the ODM party. He was speaking to the vacuum that has now been left by the passing of Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga was ODM. It was seen as the entire ODM party, that those key decisions had to come from one Raila Odinga. Is Simbarati sort of speaking to what is now a tough question for majority of us to answer? Monday, who's the next party leader for ODM? Because it's gotta be a party that is led. Right now, there's an open vacuum that has been left there. If they are, and this is what they're saying, this is what the family is saying. The family is saying that we have to, number one, champion for what Raila Odinga pushed for. And we have to continue to preserve his main attributes for one Raila Odinga, which are championing for better leadership, pushing the government of the day to the corner to make the right decisions, and also making sure that the rights of the Kenyan citizens are respected. If you look at the top leadership of the ODM party, do they have what it takes to continue the legacy of one Raila Amolo Odinga? And if not, why? And then who's the next party leader? And if yes, Omondi, who's that guy that you're looking at?
I think if you look at the top leadership of ODM, like you've said,
yes,
to me, I don't think there is anybody who can take the leadership and steer ODM towards where Raila would have wished it steered to. Because the people that we are seeing in the ODM leadership are constituency leaders or county leaders. They are people who are not really binding. They are not people who have the, I mentioned about Raila's charisma. They don't have it for the benefits of ODM.
Yes.
But there is actually two people, to me, that really stand out, that have the possibility in terms of experience and national outlook. That is, you might dismiss them because of age, but that is James Orengo and Peter Anyang' Nyong'o. You see, Orengo is somebody who is already in everybody's ear in Kenya. They've heard about Orengo. Anybody who has watched TV, anybody who has followed politics have heard about Orengo. So Orengo is known. Orengo is known for having, championed, creation of laws that have governed this country. So that one makes him stand out as somebody who has the country at heart. So Anyang' Nyong'o has been there, though he hasn't been, he vied once for the presidency, I think.
Yes.
But he has now, actually, after that, he has been a constituency leader. He was an MP, then he became a minister, and then he's now a governor. But if you want leadership, Simba, leadership is not just something that can be given to somebody because they can speak English or they went to school. Leadership requires wisdom. Leadership requires resilience. Leadership requires understanding.
Yes.
So Raila is one person that, you will agree with me, never used to respond to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that talked to him.
Yes.
That was wisdom. Who has that wisdom within ODM party? People can control themselves. It is not Oburu. Oburu answers everybody. Oburu has called people names. Oburu is short-tempered to me from my own analysis of who he is. So he's not that person. Orengo is a little bit controlled. He doesn't talk too much. And whenever he talks, there is substance in what he says. Anyang' Nyong'o is composed and never answers people. He's that kind of person who is official and is we call him a dignitary or something. So Orengo and Nyong'o, to me, have the experience, but now they don't have the energy. Now that lands me to the next person called Babu Owino, to me. But now, Babu Owino is qualified and not qualified. Not qualified because Babu inherits one thing from Raila Odinga. Babu inherits the national outlook figure.
Yes.
Babu is one person who is slowly winning hearts. Even before I say that, look at ODM right now. Who is it in ODM that can go to Mombasa and say, guys, I want this done, and people will listen? Who is this that can go to Kakamega and say, I want this done, and people will listen? Even the youth. It is only Babu. Babu has following actually in most parts of the country, something that most people in ODM don't have.
Yes.
Yeah. But Babu is missing out on a few things. Babu is missing out on his personal conduct, general conduct. He's that person who is, portraying signs of arrogance. His lifestyle is portraying him as a hooligan. Those are not characteristics of a leader. And then we're also looking at a Babu who is still not yet experienced. Remember, we started by talking about building a political leadership base.
Yes.
It takes time.
Yes.
Babu has not built that because in our backyard in Nyanza, who is Babu in Nyanza? we still look at Babu as somebody who was just a follower of Raila. He might be understood by the youth, but he is not appealing to the majority, to the elderly, because we have not seen Babu coming out to champion for basic things that touches on the people's lives, you see. So, to me, Babu, and I mean, the leadership of ODM should be taken by these two gentlemen, Anyang' Nyong'o and Orengo. I don't know how.
Yes.
But then now, they should provide the wisdom and the mentorship to the young generation that is within ODM. Now that involves people like Sifuna, people like Babu, because they have the energy. Nyong'o doesn't have energy. He's even older than Raila. Yeah? Orengo is 74. So they have the wisdom that they need to give to these people, because honestly speaking, there is nobody in ODM that can fit in Raila's shoes and be able to be the compact disc for ODM.
Yes.
There's nobody. But if they do it in unity and understanding and accepting that we all miss out on being Raila, but together we can come up with something close, then I think they can get it. But that outright appointment of a replacement for Raila in ODM right now is going to be a very big miss.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll be coming back to you on what favors majority of the names that you mentioned. Now, one of the questions that I had for you this morning is what the party needs to do to make sure that they are together leading into 2027 for any proper negotiation, because as it stands, I mean, you can call them the biggest party in the country, as it were. Let me take you back to a gentleman who's not been in good terms with one Raila Amolo Odinga, and I say good terms in quotes because we do not know what was going on in the background. Kalonzo Musyoka, with the Wiper party that was enshrined within the ODM umbrella. Do you think that now the leadership of the ODM, the leadership that is left, should go back and say, now is not a time for us to have political parties pull out of ODM? How integral is Kalonzo Musyoka to ODM right now? What we do know is that up to Raila Amolo Odinga's passing, Kalonzo Musyoka had said, look here, I'm not going to work with Raila Amolo Odinga anymore. I'm in the running to the 2027, in the 2027 general election. As a party, we are forging our way forward. Do you think the leadership now that is left within ODM should look at Kalonzo Musyoka as a possible ODM leader and say, if in that outlook of the leaders that are left that can guide this party, Kalonzo Musyoka could be one of them? Do you think they should pull him back to the party now that the only problem that Kalonzo had was with Raila Amolo Odinga? And now that we've agreed that that announcement for what the party is going to do in the lead into 2027 has not been officially made, should he come back? Should the party pull Kalonzo Musyoka back into ODM?
If Kalonzo decides to, yes. But again, Simba, this would call for a few answers on what, why, and how. Yes. Because the what here would be, what would Kalonzo be coming back to do in ODM that he's not doing in Wiper? And then the why now? Why should he come when he has a Wiper that has given him the mandate of being the party leader? And then how, when he comes, what happens in ODM? Because you see, ODM is full of people who have, let's talk of ambitions and ambitions and ambition. These people also want to be party leaders. Even if that is, I think, I've not looked at it that way.
And, that you know, all the elections that we've gone into, Kalonzo Musyoka has been viewed second to Raila Amolo Odinga. And he's always supported Raila Amolo Odinga as the second within that party. That now that Raila Amolo Odinga is not there anymore, if he goes back, he automatically will be viewed as the first in our running. ODM has not made a decision.
Simba, on this, I think I would say it is near impossible, because in as much as, like I said, I had not looked at it from your point of view,
yes.
And I like the fact that you are bringing it up, and now I'm thinking at why Kalonzo should even think of coming to DOM, because these people parted ways back in 2000 and is it 2006?
Yes.
Yeah, toward the 2007 elections when people ran away with the UDM certificate and stuff like that. It has been almost 20 years of not working together. And Kalonzo left. It is like you have a company A and company B. Then now you want company B to disintegrate so that it comes and joins company B. You know, because ODM is a political party doing just the same things as Wiper. Now, why should we disintegrate Wiper and join ODM? What is it that is so big in ODM that we're missing in Wiper that would, you know, prompt us to come and join ODM? You know, because now, at that point, then now, we would really see if it is good for Kalonzo to drop Wiper and join ODM.
Yes.
But if at all that was to come, again, it would attract a few questions. And the questions would be, is Kalonzo really able to join ODM as the party leader and keep the ODM fire burning? Then the answer is no, because Kalonzo is not even burning the same fires in Wiper. Wiper is not burning the fire that is supposed to burn. Like right now, Gachagua has overshadowed Kalonzo in the opposition.
Yes.
So why would ODM that is burning even more fires? Yeah, even with Sifuna, the fires in ODM are burning hotter than the fires in Wiper. So why would ODM need Kalonzo to join it? To me, I think it would be of zero benefit. It would just be an act of compassion, accommodating somebody of high standards in the national leadership to join ODM in replacement for Raila. But it wouldn't add any value to me, Kalonzo joining ODM. That is what I think. I think it would even be more advantageous if Ruto joined ODM than Kalonzo joining it. Kalonzo brings zero impact by joining ODM, according to me. Yeah, I don't see Kalonzo bringing anything beneficial. He's diplomatic, too diplomatic. But does ODM need those diplomatic people?
Yes.
Joining it?
Yes.
Is that, yeah.
Just go back then to the names that you floated earlier on. And by the way, this has been discussions through and through of what now the ODM party is going to look like. Do you think that with Raila Amolo Odinga's passing, this national outlook of the party is gone with him? And that's why they're floating Kalonzo Musyoka as one who would still give the party a national outlook. Because if you look at the likes of Anyang' Nyong'o, he lost it. I mean, he's now spoken as a governor in a particular region, as opposed to a man who would give the party a national influence. Look at the likes of Oparanya. Look at the likes of James Orengo as well. Even as he's getting floated as a good bid replacement, his power in opposition politics, whatever definition that we want to give that now, that ODM is within government, is also viewed as close to non-existent. Is a man who's been following the voice of Raila Amolo Odinga. Is being viewed as a supporter of Raila Amolo Odinga as opposed to a proponent of ODM values, you know? But at one point, what we're staring at is that ODM have to look within the party and choose somebody that has got the national outlook in it as a leader. Is that why some of the names that you plotted this morning might be doom for ODM?
Exactly, because you just talked about, you asked actually if there's a likelihood of Raila had left with ODM and whatever you mentioned.
Yes.
It is true. Up to now, it is true. Because the one thing I don't like Raila Odinga for, and one thing that we tried, and we could post things in social media trying to get his attention. We knew that Raila was, at one point, Raila was going to die.
Yes.
Or Raila was going to exit politics.
That's it.
Now, that one point was when Raila is dead now. He's dead. But Raila did not really mentor somebody that we could point at and say, this is the possible replacement of Raila when he is retired from politics or gone, like he is right now. So that is one thing I blame Raila for, and actually probably the only thing I blame him for. He didn't do that while he had that, he had all the time and he had everything needed to do so. So I think the people that are in ODM right now, people are talking about Mbadi, people are talking about Opio Wandai, you know. Mbadi is just somebody who is, you know, Mbadi is aggressive, or let's say aggressive. Mbadi is somebody who is just, he's a tough man, but his toughness is not felt outside his constituency and his maybe county. He tried to be a governor, and actually we are told, Raila told him to step aside, I don't know. Or whether you saw Wanga was going to beat him, I don't know. But actually he decided to stop. So he's somebody who is just showing a lot of energy and, you know, I don't know how to call it, but is that being felt outside his constituency? It is not. That is why I think Orengo was a possible replacement, but with the kind of allegiance that Orengo is now pledging on Ruto, yes, he's losing it. Anyang' Nyong'o lost it because he decided to go back and be Asia County, Kisumu County governor. Yeah. But maybe he was doing that in respect to Raila. No, Raila did not, Raila was still there, but maybe they wanted to respect the leadership of the party. So he had to go and do that. So if Orengo had maintained that resistance that he had initially of it is a wrong decision for ODM to work with the government, people would have seen him as somebody of his own decisions, a person of his own mind. Then he would have maybe come out as somebody who can stand alone, yes, and, you know, make decisions that can steer the party towards somewhere else. Yeah, but now that he has come back and has bowed to pressure, I don't know whether it was there, but he looked like somebody who was about to some pressure. He has lost it, but he has the wisdom. That is why, to me, I still insist that Babu Owino, right now, not right now, he could be nurtured to be the next ODM party leader. He's the only person with that national outlook, whether you like it or not. Yes. He is the only person.
Does he have support within the party?
No, he doesn't. Within the party, no. But with the people, yes.
So, not so many people have come out to attack Babu within the party. Babu has been carrying himself as an ODM member, and everybody sees him as an ODM member. We haven't seen leaders come out to castigate Babu for the way that he conducts himself or what he says. Does he? What sort of support does Babu have within the party? Maybe I should ask you that question this morning, Omondi. From what quarters does his support come from?
Within the party?
Yes.
Is it there any? Because I think if you looked at from the day Raila died, and the statement that have come from, you know, these legislators from Nyanza, yes, they have always made statements that are touching on Babu, even if they are not direct. I'll mention one, Atandi, yes, Samuel Atandi. He said, we don't want people who are posing at the party leader right now. You know, this thing was directed at Babu Owino. We saw the senator of Migori, Eddie, saying the same thing. We've seen Mbadi, we've seen Wandai. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You saw Nani, the sister of Raila, saying there are people who want to run away with ODM, yet they don't even know when it was established. It is Babu who was not there when ODM was being made. Babu was still in school. So who are they talking to? They're talking to Babu, you know. But again, when you ask about the support, I come from a place where my constituency is just adjacent to Babu's, and the young people are following Babu. They are listening to what Babu is saying. Yes. To me, I think yes, Babu doesn't have support within the ODM, or if it is, then those who support him have not come out clearly to say they support him, while those who are opposing him have come out to say they don't. Yeah. So those who support him within the party are doing him injustice. They should come out and say, Babu, we support you for this. But I think Babu really needs to know right now that he's making a mistake, according to me. Yes. He's running too fast. He is coming out to show that he's after replacing Raila. They were talking about Babu not having a home in Nyanza. He went home and he took photos and showed it in social media. I have a home, you know. They are castigating him for, you know, having been married to Akikuyu, yes, you know. And Simba, before I continue, let me take you through something. When we were brought up in the village, where I was brought up, we were made to believe that Akikuyu is an enemy of Aluo. And whenever we came into any contact with the Kikuyu, we were seeing a thief. That is what we were made to believe. Yes. And until we came to town, that is when we realized that not every Kikuyu you meet is a thief, and there are even Luos who are thieves, you see. So the perception in the village, still up to now, is that anybody who works close to a Kikuyu is not supposed to be trusted. And this is something that Bob is really going to get so hard, selling himself to the people in the village while he's marrying to a Kikuyu. It might be a challenge. It is something that has also made people not believe Orengo. He's married to a Meru, you see. So that is tribal, but it is something that is happening. We don't believe in that. Just the same way the Kikuyus were made and were told things about Luos.
Yes.
And they believe those things. So these things are going to be at play here. I'm not saying Babu should divorce his wife. I'm not saying Babu, it is a mistake for him marrying a Kikuyu, but it is going to work against him. How he brands himself and sells it out really matters, you know, because the Kikuyu is married to is not the one who is going to provide leadership. Though she might influence. They're even comparing it to Luanda Magere, who was given a lady and was killed by
That's it.
you see. So Babu really have a lot to do.
That's it.
He really need to learn. He's in a learning process. And Babu must stop showing arrogance to Luo leaders. That involves even the Luo Council of Elders. He should work close to them. He should accept criticism. And Babu should stop responding to everything on social media. Not every bad thing that is done is responded to on social media and, you know, going to functions with hired goons. You know, he hires them. It's confirmed. He hires them. He gets some, but he hires some. Yeah. So Raila Odinga, that is working to replace, never used to hire people to come to his rally. And even in his eulogy, in his in tribute that people made those confessions. He never hired anybody. It is what he stood for that that appealed to the people's hearts, and they came out in support.
Yes.
So Babu should start speaking for what the people need. To hear. He should start talking to people's hearts.
That's it.
If he really thinks that he wants to inherit Raila Odinga, he should get himself out of this idea of Babu, and these people are hired. No. Let people come up and say, this is the person who is speaking for us. Does Gachagua hire goons? No. It is because the people felt Gachagua was being mistreated while they thought, but it is not true, that Gachagua is the only person who was speaking for them. He wasn't. Gachagua started talking for the people when he was mistreated. But now, he did it very fast and came out as the only person who was talking for the people in Ruto's administration. And that is why the people who support Gachagua believe that he is the liberator. Babu is missing out on that. He's too busy doing a lot of social media PR, and that is no for those who are intelligent can see this guy is after showing people that he can replace Raila. Nobody can replace Raila. Somebody can move close to Raila. Even if somebody will, it will take time.
That's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. We have 2 minutes left for this conversation, Omonde. And I gotta say this. The last question, in fact, responded in a minute, because that's what we have left now. It's not a secret. Babu, in an interview in one of the famous radio stations across the country, he said, after Baba is Babu. And when he was asked about the support that has been enjoying across the country wherever he goes, in areas where ODM is addressing the public, crowds have demanded that Babu speaks. In the latest one, when he went to Kasarani at the viewing of the body of Raila Amolo Odinga, and there was huge support that followed him, he said he will never hire crowds to take away, to use that as a platform for support or to show that he is the next in leadership after Baba. He said he'll never do that, and he swore that he's not that kind of a man. What does he have to do to gain internal support? Other than what you've spoken here, does he have to start rallying within the party? Is that what he needs to do now? 1 minute, Omonde.
There's a lot of rebranding to do, and a lot of he need to rebrand a lot, because
yes,
you see, just very fast, there are similarities between Raila and Babu. One of the similarities, people have all been arrested, you know. But now, if you look at the arrests, Raila was arrested for what, and Babu was arrested for what? Raila was arrested championing for the people's rights. Babu has been arrested on criminal charges.
That's it.
Now, apart from that, Babu is that kind of a person who is coming out to announce himself as the next king. Did Raila come out and say, hey guys, I'm coming in as the next king? He didn't. He just started doing the work.
Yes.
And it's the work that made him the king.
Oof. You know what? I'll call him back again. I don't know what happened to Okinojuka this morning. Probably caught in traffic somewhere. I'm just going to look at my phone and see what kind of message that I have this morning. But there's just a lot that we're going to have to do. Conversations on what ODM now has to do to still hold on to their strongholds, especially in the coast part of this country and also in the western and Nyanza parts of this country. Those are conversations that we have to look at next. Is that going to be as a consequence of the next ODM leader that is in line? Who is that? We still do not know. And Omondi is also saying he still doesn't know. So it's just a wait and see on exactly what's going to happen within the ODM party. Omondi, thank you very much for joining us this morning. You've been quite capable, even with the absence of Okinojuka. That's it. Guess what? Take him online to the time that he joined us this morning at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiaga Simba. I'll see you tomorrow again for another conversation. Good morning and goodbye.